Hello everybody. I've finally got a motor on the Olivia CL217 and this one, I really love this machine. It is in a terrible condition. It's flaking paint and everything. It's rusty. Came to me totally frozen up. The lady in Portugal who very kindly sent this to me from Portugal. She got it with the thing of going to restore it, but unfortunately it was a bit beyond her. She asked me my advice on it. I said, well, really, if you don't know anything about the machines or know nothing about them, how to restore them, then I personally wouldn't, because you can get into no ends of trouble with them. So she took my advice in not forcing it or trying to fix it or anything, but very kindly sent it over by somebody who actually lives out there. And it came to me in a very rusty state, as it is now really. Paint's flaking, rust all over, and it was badly frozen up, but I picked up where it was actually frozen up, and that was on the pinion and rack system that it uses underneath, which is very interesting to me anyway. I haven't seen it before, but apparently Singer did use them on some machines, so I think Singer is being copying yet again. The machine was most likely designed in the 30s, most likely late 30s. They got involved with a company called Olivia in Portugal, and what happened was that they set up a company out there, and they used their Bernina design. So it's very similar to the Bernina 117. The only difference is that it's actually on this rack and pinion drive. It's a oscillating hook, but the nice thing about it is the oscillating hook is directly in front of you, so you can see what's happening. Very easy to get in and out. I don't really get on with 15s because they're a fiddle. When they're on the transverse side, they're just fiddling, and when we come to the Refray, which is on the other side here, which I'll show you, you virtually have to have a double jointed wrist to load them up, unless you're going to lift up the thing, turn the machine over, which I don't particularly like because I think they should be easy to use. But this is a joy. Straight in there, see what's happening with the hook, and it's just all under there. So basically what you have here is your stitch regulator and your zigzag lever stitch regulator, and on the back you have a bias knob, which is a bit difficult to get hold of, but you can just see the needle moving, so to the right, central, and to the left. It was all pretty frozen up, but I've managed to do it, and with the minimum amount of stripping back, because I don't actually like stripping back machines if they don't need it. There's just no point taking the factory settings out of the machine. I always think it's better if you can keep them. And you've also got you can drop the, it's not going to do it now, drop the dogs on the lever. So you've got everything you could possibly want on this machine. They were mainly used for treadling, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the top off a Singer treadle machine, get some thick plywood and make a new top and drop this in and try treadling this, and just take it from there, because it is an absolute joy of a machine, and I like it a lot. And just to prove that it is working, so that, zip it up there and slowly go. And you've got, of course, you've got adjustments. Like that for stitch size, and then when you want to put a zigzag in, like that. Okay. So that is definitely working, and in consideration it was shockingly frozen up. There you go. Just need a bit of work on this, on the tensions, I think, and on the back as well. And I think it will hold. Definitely will hold. But like I say, yeah, that's holding. Like I say, it just needs a bit more work on tensions. I spend so much time getting everything else sorted. It's sort of really the last thing you do. Right, so great machine, love it. Bernina design. And what they did is Bernina, there's a later version of this called the Olivia 50, which is basically like a 1950s design and not a 30s, 40s design. And they sort of rounded things off and made it all sort of for that period. And Bernina actually put their Bernina on them and sold them as a Bernina, and Olivia sold theirs as the Olivia 50. You can find those on Portuguese YouTube sites. Just look up Olivia 50 and they'll come up, but this is basically an early version of the same machine. Everything's in the same place, and I'm sure it's got extra bits and bobs on it, but basically the same. It does have a knee bar. So if I get a Bernina knee bar, it should just go straight in there, and I can raise it on the knee bar. Right, so just to give you a look at the underneath, which is interesting, just turn it over. Is you have, I think you can see everything there. Yeah. Very, very simple. You've got your main shaft at the top, which turns, which is attached to a bevel gear, and a shaft that comes down. So your shaft turns here. I'll just take the thread out so I don't get a mess. And you'll see these on sort of Singer 12s, the very, very early versions of machines, where they get their con rods would be moving. So the power comes down, turns the counterweight, then on a connection rod, and then this is on the rack. This is the rack rod here, and you have a pinion drive in pinion gear in here, and this oscillates the actual hook. So it's quite interesting how it's all done in compared to the Bernina Refray, which I'll show you in a second. Very, very simple, very, very clever in how they've done all this. The problem with it was that the pinion shaft was so rusted up, it froze up solid. So what I was doing, I was getting a little bit of movement. Everything else was moving apart from the hook. And if you look at the previous video, you see what I mean. And what I had to do is I had to take all this out, put this in the vise, knock out the shaft with the pinion gear within it, because it was so badly rusted up. Cleaned that up, oiled it, and then got it working again, and now it's moving like an absolute dream. The other thing is to remove the hook. Very, very simple. Just press that up. Of course, I'm not going to do that. So you've got your cover there, and you've got your hook there, so you can clean out, oil, whatever you want. Very straightforward. And then snap that back in. I'm sure you've seen these on other machines, but it's quite nice to see it on this one. That's locked in. Right, so I'll show you the rack on here. So take this up. Quick sweep. Now I'll just remove the plate. And we'll just move in a little bit. So you can see, I just have to check. Yeah. Right. Here is that rack system, rod should I say, that will come along, and that's got teeth on the underneath, which then goes onto the pinion gear, which then drives the actual hook itself. So it oscillates just like a standard 15 does, but what they've very cleverly done is they put a groove in the top, and there's oil holes. I'll just use this one. There's oil hole there, and they go all along the actual rack itself. So when you drop your oil in there, which is at the back, it goes into this groove, and then it oils not only the pinion gear and the rack, it also oils where it's connected or held in place, should I say, at the back there. Now they were all blocked. There's about 5 of them in all, I think, all in. Clean them all out, so the oiling is now complete, because these are all oil machines. If you put grease on this machine, you'd ruin it very, very quickly, because you would just lose that ability to oil the correct areas, and what would happen is you'd also block the oiling holes. So like I say, oil goes in there, goes into the groove, and it oils everything along the shaft. So it's well thought out and built to last. And the bit it would oil, if I just come back, would be the internal part of this. I was going to take it apart, but I thought no, I'll just leave it. So that oils all of that. All in all, fantastic machine. Love it. In a terrible mess, but I think the best thing I can do with this now is use it with heavy, sort of not canvas, but sort of heavy material, and this will start wearing all this back down again, and start to remove the rust. Now, so that was Bernina in Portugal. Bernina in Spain was, I'll just move seats. I've got 12 minutes on this one. So this is Refray, company in Spain. This is the CL317, and I've contacted Bernina about this machine, and sure enough they did actually make this machine for Refray. It's basically, top half is a Bernina 117. It's pretty much identical, but there's a few things added to it, and a few things taken away. But the thing is, it's basically a Bernina 117 here. The base plate is a Bernina 114. In the records they said that the Bernina 117 finished in about 1945. It didn't. They kept producing these for Spain right into the 50s. So it's quite an interesting machine, and it's got things on it that you don't see even on a Bernina 117. Now, what I was saying about the only difference with the base plate here is that the Bernina 117 has a bigger one, a bit more rectangular, but this one's just got a square. Is that your hook? So you can't even get in here really. So you have to turn it on one side. Right, I'm not going to waste time on that. Basically, your case is pointing away from you. Your bobbin case and your bobbin is facing it. So you have to start doing this sort of business. Not very easy because this is on a rotary hook. So the shaft goes that way. It becomes very difficult compared to that one, which was very, very straightforward. You can actually see what you're doing. What they removed from here, they removed the knee bar. I haven't seen one with a knee bar in it. But what they did add, which is interesting, and I'll just take you up and over. I'll just make sure you've got that. I'll just move that out of the way. I'm not very professional about this, but never mind. But what they did have was called an automatico, and this you could dial in